The last roofer that installed this roof system did not install it correctly. Everywhere that there's a wall detail around the edge of the roof there's supposed to be some type of flashing or a termination bar that terminates it to the wall. Without any termination bar holding it to the wall, you can see here the membrane starts to pull away from the wall and crack, and then now water can get behind that when it rains. As a matter of fact, if we look here, water was actually squirting out. Here, I just pressed and you can see the water that just squirted out of there. That lets us know that water is actually getting underneath the roof system, and that this roof system has a lot of trapped water underneath it, in between the asphalt layer and the metal deck underneath the roof system. The only option moving forward here is to remove both layers of roof and remove that trapped moisture, and then put a new roof system that's installed correctly. This top layer of roof system was not installed correctly. As you can see at the seams, they're not holding, all the seams are starting to separate, and you can see there's been little tiny patches that have tried to reseal the seams, but really it's throughout the roof that the seams are separating. And when the seams separate, water is able to get underneath the roof system. You can see the moisture here. Actually, if I step, you can actually see water coming out of the roof system there. So right there, that's water that's coming out from underneath the roof system. Hi, this is Kelly Roofing, performing a roof inspection. One thing we noticed throughout the roof is there is actually multiple areas, actually throughout the entire roof system. There's air pockets or blisters. Actually, there's one right here. What air pockets or blisters are caused from is water getting underneath the roof system and then trying to evaporate when the sun heats up the moisture, creating these air pockets that you see here. It's a little hard to see because it's a camera, so it's 2D, but actually this whole area right here is one big hump, one big air pocket sitting about a foot high off the roof. And what happens is water that gets in through these seams here where it's leaking gets underneath the roof system and tries to evaporate, causing these leaks. And as you can see, you have these air blisters or air pockets throughout the entire roof system. It's not just any one or two isolated areas. These blisters are throughout, and you can see them as I'm pointing to them here. Now, what that tells us is that moisture has gotten underneath the roof system and tried to evaporate. Now, because the roof before this had moisture, when they put this new layer over top, that trapped all that moisture. So now as it tries to evaporate, it's causing these air blisters and air pockets. That lets us know that moisture is trapped underneath this roof system. So unfortunately, the only way to correct this and fix this is to actually remove both layers of roof, getting down to where the moisture is, getting rid of the moisture, and put a new insulation and a new membrane roof over top.
Okay, what we're looking at here, you actually have a bubble that is formed underneath the roof system. That lets us know the water and moisture is getting underneath. You see just how bad that bubble is. I mean, it's really trapped in there. It's trapped all the moisture, and you can see right in this area here, water's able to get, I mean, easily underneath there, and it can't get back out. So by putting this new roof system on, we'll make sure you have the two-way breather vents that you need to make sure that any water that does get underneath is able to actually relieve itself.